Yes, I like to serve Christians who are, sometimes they use the word stuck or parked in their faith and are at a point where they just want to get moving and live a closer life with the Lord. And so I offer a class that includes the creative side of us. We were created by a creator. And so I like to think we need to use all of our brain when we want to instigate some change. And so I offer a 6 weeks class called the Deeper Walk.
And it's a Bible study plus an art activity side of things. So
Yeah, they get a box, a kit with all kinds of art goodies and the supplies that we use, and we meet for 8 weeks, and we actually I love to teach people to do step-by-step painting. So there's no, that's part of the fun of it, is trying something new and nobody gets left behind. But what's been really intriguing is how God blesses the conversations that we have when we bring him in the middle of that mix and allow him to let us reflect on where we're at and where he might want us to be, look at his truths.
Yeah. And so the transformation was really a spiritual transformation as a result of this opportunity to explore creating as God creates and to dive deeper into what he says. And I want you guys to hear that. Those of you in the room who have a more spiritual topic or who have a Bible study course in mind, or you've written devotionals and don't think it can be a program, like I want you to hear what Connie's sharing with us, because it is valuable. It is hugely valuable. And the spiritual transformation, just as much as any other kind of transformation, is a huge service to people. So Connie, tell us about what it was like to get ready to launch this program.
As I was listening to you earlier, one of the things that I think maybe is important in my story, I'm a CPA by trade, and God has used that. And I work with people in my tax preparation and think of that as a ministry. And I teach art, and the Lord's in the middle of that. But when you guys were talking about the importance of not being appreciated, I'll try not to get emotional here, in how God sees you and how God may want to use you and how he repurposes what we already know. I think that's probably that's part of my story and probably always will be. So part of it for me was just allowing some people in my life to let me see who God sees me and how he wants to use me. And I felt led to kind of redefine how I think about myself as a Christian mentor. And so accepting myself as a Christian mentor put me thinking about myself in a different light to think what I should offer. And so I didn't feel very adequate in it. And in fact, those of you that know me said my story was I don't wear dresses often, and I'm not sure if this really fits. But that was my way of just saying that and allowing God to show me that it is really one that fits. And so when I went to, I really wanted to do this 8-week deeper walk class. And because I'm a tax preparer, my seasons are not all the same. And I was talking to Katie and said, I am really praying about whether I can wait and do this after tax season. And Katie just leaned into this and said, what's it going to take? And so I was blessed with Katie actually writing the email series that I got. And it was kind of one of those things, I'll write them if you promise to send them. And so we set out to do, and that is all I did was the email series. I didn't have time to cultivate. I mean, I did have a 1,000 plus people on my email list, but I need to tell you that my email list, they hear when there's a little painting class thing going. This was totally not what they were used to getting. And I honestly really, I felt, my Lord, we're going to send this many of them. And even down to the last series, like how many, 5 did we send that last day? I really was having this kind of like, I'm really going to just lose everybody because they're just going to be so tired. But here was the thing that I picked up yesterday when you talked about our job is to offer and God gets to do the rest, right? And so here I am just like feeling I'm totally out on this limb doing this thing all together. I felt like I'm sending tons and tons of emails. They're all going to just whatever. And I had several sign up at the last minute when they were getting 5. And it was exactly, they were saying to me, well, Connie, I'd really decided not to. And God kept bringing these emails in front. And so I have to be honest. And I said, there was a piece of me at the time that said, oh Lord, now the pressure's really on because they think you're the one who sent them. But the fun part about all of that is that God got to do it. And that's what I picked up yesterday when you were saying, we just have to offer it good, and we have to have the heart to serve. And as much as part of trusting the process, even though it doesn't always make sense to us, was part of realizing that he's the one who brought them, which I have never wanted to serve a group of people harder than I served those people. And the crazy part about it, after 8 weeks, is several of them really would say now, whether they were the last minute signups or the first one, is God wanted them to be there. So even when you think it's way too much, my goal is let God just serve and let God do it.
Yeah. And so how many people did you end up in that class?
We had 10.
10 people. 10 people in the class. And so you think about it, 10 people from 1,000, do the math, guys. It's 2% conversion. It's 2%.
And this was my first offer at any of I mean, I'm used to doing painting classes for a nominal amount of money. So we were at $397. So this was the first time I'd ever reached out to offer anything at that level.
Yeah. So little is much when God is in it, right? And sometimes that thing that we're like, oh, do I trust the process? Trust the process. Lean in. If faithful is he that calls you, who also will do it. And so thrilled and excited. And from what I've heard, there's been some chatter about people asking what's next. Do you have another level in mind?
I do. But at this point, I think I have to say, I know he knows I'm so buried in taxes that I have to get to the other side of this. We're starting to call this my hibernation season so that I can get all the taxes done and then think back. So at this point, yes, I think me incorporating the concept of being a Christian mentor has opened the door for me to think about more possibilities than I would have if I hadn't redefined myself. What is it that you believe about yourself that enables God to do, or is enabling what God wants to do to you? And I think when you open that door and you say, what is my belief about myself that I just need to throw away, because he's got stuff he wants to do. And I think that just the concept of thinking that I can be a mentor to an array of people is it's not the CPA world, it's not the art world, it's just who Connie is and who he's cultivated me to be. Love it.
Love it. Thank you for sharing with us, Connie.
I think for me, the shift has been, I've in the CPA world, I've believed it was God's business for a really long time. We hold ourselves out. I've really believed that people bring, and we do quite a bit of ministry, but we're charging for taxes. And so to me, God really redefined what it meant to be kingdom minded and to be Lord led when it comes to those things. And I'm realizing that all of what he had preparing me for was just getting me warmed up for what he really needs, because, it was still comfortable. They came to me, and if anybody tries to find me as a CPA, the joke is, you're not sure she's still alive, but they find me. And, and God used that. But what God really showed me is that I needed to, like I alluded before, I needed to think of myself as how God sees me and how he's prepared me to be used by him. And then it's I just need to do what he tells me to do, and so it's really redefining what my role is, whether it's the leader of my staff in the CPA firm, or, mentoring with a pastor that comes in, or putting together the deeper walk. I just need to do how he has me wired and rest in the piece that he gets to do, the transformation pieces. And I think part of our Christian walk in knowing we have to really lean into that confidence of those truths of who he says we are, and keep moving.
Thank you for taking
Thank you.
time out of the busy day, because I know you've got back-to-back meetings and things
No,
too.
it's a blessing to be here.
I appreciate the time that you're here. Thank you.